Hi, everybody. I know half of you. It's great. Those of you I don't know. Let me tell you a quick intro story, because we actually had 2 slideshows until 7 seconds before I came up here, and we had to make a decision which one we were going to run with. So I was going to do this really cool thing, and if you come to the next conference I talk at, it will be working, because it's probably going to be working in the next 6 minutes. But I filmed a video about an hour and a half, well, 2 hours ago now, and I sent it to my colleague in Thailand at the moment, because he's a nomad. And that is a nice introduction video of me. Looks like I'm coming up on stage, and I'm saying hi to you, and I'm starting to talk to you a little bit. And then I wrap that video, and then I come up on stage for real. And the video was going to tell you what we were going to do. And we have this cool little experiment. It actually is working. You're all going to get an email. Everyone in here is going to get an email probably in the next hour, hour and a half. And it's going to give you 2 videos. It's going to give you the original video that says, "Hi, Chicago, I'm so glad to be here." And then it's going to give you a second video that's actually going to be personalized to your name. And I don't know any of your names. Well, some of you I do. Greg, hi. Zach, good to see you. So if you're an attendee of this event, you're going to get this email. We were going to do this little experiment because I was going to get one of you to come up on stage and show this off. The point of the exercise, and when you get this video, I still want you to think about what the purpose was technology, AI-assisted technology today can help you personalize your interaction with your employees and your guests and your loyalty members and your community. You could say, last night, Vegas won the Stanley Cup, right? You could send something to all of your customers and say, "Are you a Vegas Knights fan? Congratulations, Susie. I hope you're enjoying the win. Come by this restaurant. We want to celebrate with you. Here's an ice cream cone," right? So the technology exists. Now, it's new, which is why we're not demonstrating it right now, because there's an issue loading it somewhere in the world on a server. But I actually got the test video, and it works. And it looks like me saying, "Hi, Chad. I'm so grateful to be here, blah, blah, blah." So that video is coming. The point is, I want you to get your mind thinking about how technology can enhance your guest and employee experience and build your brand, right? So that's how I'm thinking about it as I'm doing this. So that's the unexpected speech or monologue at the entry of the show that was not planned. So let's pick it up where we are. I am very thankful for Zach and Rev and Sam and Industry Now for inviting me to Chicago again and to be with you guys. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Troy Hooper. I've been in the industry 31 years. I started as a busboy at Bennigan's, second busiest Bennigan's in the world. Who here knows what a Bennigan's is? Hey, all right. Young guy does not. That's okay. It's like a Fridays, better than Applebee's, but yeah, there was a movie, The Office, something. Yeah, the buttons, right? What do we call the buttons? Flair. See? All right. But I've been doing this in a variety of positions for a long time. I have a consulting practice called Kiwi Restaurant Partners, and in that practice, we provide outsourced C-suite services and brand scaling consulting work. We help emerging brands scale their business from where they are to where they want to go and bring all those resources to the table to accelerate their success. In that case, in that vein, this brand called Pepper Lunch reached out to me last fall and said, "Hey, we really want to expand in the U.S. We're struggling with it. It's not working for us. We need somebody who understands the U.S. and has the ability to help us scale." So they asked KRP to come on and become the franchise infrastructure developer and manager, and they asked me to please CEO the North American division, but also be co-CEO on the global brand. There's 5 executives in the world that run this company. Moving along. I want you to know password. Password. I'll do it from here. We'll figure it out. The little second computer is not working out. I want you to know that I understand, if you're an operator in here, what you're going through when you're thinking about all of these amazing technologies, from Devour to Paytronics to Opus to Plate IQ. Did I miss any of the vendors in the room? The card free? Yep. I know what you're going through as an operator trying to run your business, grow your business, and make these decisions to hopefully help your business, right? Little context about the brand. I have 508 locations opening 5 new stores a month globally. We're in 15 countries. We'll give you some more stats later. But we have a tech stack that doesn't talk to itself. Built in Japan, expanded in Singapore, launched in 13 other countries, and in Asia, back over the last 10 years, integration wasn't a thing. You need an accounting software, you got an accounting software and an accounting team. You need an inventory software, you got an inventory software and an inventory team, supply chain team, and none of them communicated. So I get it because I have to build a global tech stack for a moving bullet train that's already huge and is about to hit a hockey stick moment, hopefully, with exponential growth not only in the US, but continued growth around the world. And we have to build this while we're flying. Like, that's what I tell people. The plane took off. It had some form of ability to get off the ground, but man, we're missing all the parts, and we've got to go back and fill this in. So that wheel is indicative of what you guys have to face. And by the way, lots of brands that I'm familiar with aren't even on that wheel. That's last year's wheel. Go think. Is Devour on there? I think it is. Quick snapshot about Pepper Lunch, like I said. We're a 30-year-old brand starting in December. We'll start celebrating our 30th year. We're really excited. We're going to have a lot to say about that over the next year. Like I said, store count. We do own 126 of our own stores in 3 countries. And we were founded in Japan. We have a headquarters in Singapore. We operate in China as well. And we have about 120 franchisees that make up the rest of the organization. So those are the folks we've got to support and work with, et cetera. Real quick, just if you've never heard about Pepper Lunch, it's a beautiful concept. It's Japanese DIY teppanyaki, founded in Tokyo. We operate in multiple venue models. This is our restaurant model. This happens to be in the Gem Mall in Singapore. It's actually my favorite location. I've been there twice. I love it. It's gorgeous. We also do kiosks really well, non-traditional really well. We do a lot of malls and food courts and things like that. So display kitchens in most of our restaurants. All of our kiosks are display. This is the food. People are like, what is DIY teppanyaki? It's Japanese fajitas, guys. I mean, at the end of the day, we take really high quality ingredients and you mix and mingle your own ingredients to make the dish you want it to be. So that plate is 500 degrees, by the way. We have a proprietary patented piece of equipment, 500 degrees, comes to your table with the raw ingredients. You add the sauces, you mix it up how you like, and it's delicious. Right, Chad? It is. Who else? Who's been to Pepper Lunch? Holy crap, the camera guy, too. Greg joined me in Vegas. That was awesome. Real quick preview of the menu. These are menu categories, so we have multiple proteins and combinations within each of these categories. In the United States, teriyaki is obviously very, very familiar to most people, so that's a good entry point. But 60% of our sales is beef pepper rice. The far left picture and that video you saw, 60% of our sales is that one dish in 2 sizes, basically. The food is beautiful. It's extremely high quality ingredients. We have a phenomenal supply chain and control over that supply chain. Everything is spec'd for us. It's a really cool concept. We call it experiential fast casual. I actually have applied for the trademark despite Burger King and some other people using that in the past. So we'll see if we get it. But where else can you go, order at a counter or a kiosk, sit down, and within 5 minutes have a very hearty, very hot, very satisfying, very flavorful, protein-centric meal. We do have vegetarian, vegan as well. Where else can you do that and have that Instagram-worthy sizzle and bubble and unique experience that you can't get anywhere else, right? And by the way, I forgot to tell you, the average plate is $17.50. Our most expensive dish is a ribeye at $32, and our cheapest dish is just under $11. All that same food, right? So salad for 10, 11 bucks, steak for 32, pretty cool. So the challenge I was given, I started February 1, and I was very excited. We were ready to go. We had everything lined up for franchising in the United States, building the brand, expanding the brand's image in the United States and worldwide. We had so much set up and ready to go in the run-up to starting on February 1. And then I found out that we didn't have a tech stack in the rest of the world. So I was like, hey, so what about this and that and what do you got? And they didn't even know what they used. The answer I got after asking a lot of people across Asia in our organization what we used for what, because I didn't want to reinvent the wheel in the US. If we had a system I could use, great. The answer I got was, Troy, we fax our supply orders to our distributor daily. I was like, that's all I needed to know. So for the young kids in the room, a fax is this machine that, holy shit. So I was like, okay, never mind. I knew I needed to build a tech stack for the US. And I started on February 1st. I had that in my head done by February 3rd. I had that sorted. Now, I didn't know Opus yet, so we would have kept adding things along. But I didn't realize that I was going to be tasked with building a global tech stack for this organization. I did not know that. And if I'm going to do it in the US for the US, it makes absolutely no sense to not consider the rest of the organization. Matter of fact, they were like, oh, no, we really need your help. We really want to improve our operations. Like, it's a nightmare. The new CEO, which started not long before I did in Singapore, who runs the rest of the world, basically said, I have too many employees and these technologies will let me fire some of them. Now that's a harsh thing to say, but the answer is in Asia, especially in Japan, you actually can't fire anybody, basically. And so you find yourself finding jobs for people and creating tasks and jobs for people. And so they literally have people whose job is to like check. It's really this manual, analog, redundant, human-heavy system, and so there's no efficiencies built into that. So they really want to be able to reallocate some of that human capital. He actually didn't say fire. I need to get them doing other things is really what we want to do. So my challenge is we have 3 global headquarters, Japan, Singapore, and the United States. We operate in 15 countries. We own stores in 2 countries, 3. Japan, Singapore, and China being mainland and Hong Kong, because now Hong Kong's back in the mainland or main China piece. We have 0 visibility across the enterprise. Franchisees email us their sales reports and send us a check that they think matches what we should get paid for it. It's a really interesting. So quick history. Founded in 1994 by a famous Japanese chef and inventor, and a private equity firm called JStar purchased this brand 3 years ago. And they've spent the last 2.5 years sorting it out. What do we have? What don't we have? What do we need? Who do we need? What was done? How was it done? And we've really been in cleanup mode on a global scale for that entire couple of years, and we still are wrapping up some cleanup internally. So they didn't use the traditional franchising model. They called it franchising, but they licensed the brand, basically. So they provided no support, no infrastructure, no guidance. Basically, you need to buy these proprietary items from us, and you need to send us a check once a month. That was the end of the relationship, right? Now what we're doing is bringing all of it back into a globalized, unified brand with a full enterprise everything, right? Mandates, supply chain, recipe management, oversight, compliance, and of course the tech stack's a big part of that. And so the challenge for me is this is where we're starting. Nothing talks to nothing. So what am I going to do? I'm going to burn it to the ground. We're just going to start from scratch on a global scale. Had the entire executive team come to National Restaurant Association last month, took them around to all of the key and primary partners that I know we're going to work with or that we're discussing working with, and basically got them a very fast catch-up. They spent 2.5 days, every 30 to 60 minutes for 2.5 days from 6 a.m. to nearly midnight. They were in meetings, and they were learning about all of these items on the wheel, all of the business pieces they need globally. I'm very, very, very excited that they were very, very happy to see all of that, and that they're very excited to get going, because I thought this was going to be a many-year process of convincing them, no, you really need this. No, we really need to use that. So we're going to do it in the US. That's easy peasy. But I had to consider, does this stuff work anywhere else? Great. Where else does it work? Where can you provide services and support? And then, does that make sense for Singapore and Philippines and Indonesia and Australia and Canada and Guam, right? So it's a really overwhelming task for a guy who's not a CTO, as the title of the show says, right? There's a lot of choices, as I think we demonstrated on the wheel. We've got to decide what the right product. I'm going to call out Andy Hooper, not related, yesterday, when he said, have a business purpose problem to solve for, and then start looking for a solution that works for that. That is absolutely the right way to do this. What we do see, particularly with independent operators or very small emerging chains, is shiny object syndrome, right? That sounds great. That's amazing. That's awesome. Jeff Alexander said this morning, very early adopter, right? If you're going to be an early adopter, just accept what comes with that. What comes with early adopter behavior is bumps in the road, right, Devour? Right? If you're going to get a juicer with pricing, if you're going to be one of the first few people, Miso Robotics with Flippy, right? Everybody will tell you that they knew that wasn't going to work right on day one automatically. You're not going to plug and play these things and make them work. So right choice is based on what solves your business need today. And then realize that this journey never ends. I'm going to go to a conference in a few weeks and meet a company I've never heard of, right? When they were at NRA, I was like, holy crap, you guys are coming up really fast. I got you. Opus, found out about Opus in Miami about 3 months ago, 2.5 months ago. There's always something new. So you should have a plan to always be aware of what's coming up and what's changing and who's working together and who's buying who. When you're out there operating your businesses, it's really hard to keep up with that stuff. So I congratulate you for being at something like this, where it's intimate and you can get answers, you can talk to speakers, you can spend time in the expo hall learning. By the way, ton of companies in there I've never seen or heard of, because these small shows are affordable and a place to get out and start to show your products. So these small shows are very, very good idea, and I think you should keep coming to them. Okay, so here are my options. I can do an off-the-shelf, full retail tech stack, go in there, start signing MSAs, signing agreements, and put it all together, right? Do you talk to my POS? Do you talk to my accounting? Do you talk to my online ordering? If the answer is yes, we can find the partnerships that all work together, and I can pay $1,400 to $2,400 a month for my tech stack. That's what a costs today, right? That's a lot. And when I show you what that money is attributed to, it'll be very, very clear why it costs what it costs. I think you need more than 3 things in your tech stack. Number 2, what does the world look like if you build a tech stack that doesn't have a point of sale as the primary center of the business, right? There are brands starting to operate without a point of sale. And I think the word point of sale basically needs to go away, because most of these companies are becoming operating systems, right? They're really becoming much more like, are you an Apple or a Microsoft kind of person, right? I'm going to show you examples of a couple of these here in just a second. And the third one is something new. There are 2 or 3 companies that I am very well aware of. Soignier, I am very intimately aware of and tracking closely, because one of my partners at Kiwi is actually a partner at Soignier. Soignier, and there's a couple others coming out where they're like, well, if I can build an app and I can build an e-com and I can build an inventory manager, why can't we just build all of it or buy it or partner it and have a single solution? Yeah, basically white labeling, right? Why not use the best in-class providers, put something together, put a name on it, stamp, call it Soignier, call it whatever you want, and there's several of these up and coming. Now, I'm not going with C right now, because something like that that's so new is not necessarily going to be available and readily work well on a global scale. The one thing we are absolutely not doing, we don't have time, and honestly don't have the money budgeted, and we just don't have the time to wait to build our own system. There's some great ones out there. I've gotten to know Monstar Labs, who built and ran Shake Shack for a long time. Arc, who built and still runs Chick-fil-A. So if you think Chick-fil-A's tech stack is pretty slick in their app and all that, Arc built that, so Eric Stoll and the guys there. That's a cool but very expensive route to go. And again, you are indeed putting all your eggs in one basket when one company runs the entire Chick-fil-A tech stack, right? I'm sure there's some really strong legal protections there, but let me go back. So I'm going to tell you what this is. So this is B. So I'm going to show you B. That looks kind of familiar if you were in Andy Hooper's meeting yesterday morning. I'm a little upset. He's got the fancy logos and kind of customized because they're ahead of us on this, this investigation. But for top, you should be paying attention to what Darian Bates and Ben Pryor are doing with their team at Fortop. Andy and Harthouse are going down this road. They are using the providers they want to use. They're plugging them all into a data lake. And the unique thing about Fortop is that little beige box, which should be a much better graphic, is a middleware that they have a proprietary middleware for that they've created or they've licensed it officially, but they've built it to work with our systems. What does this mean? It means it doesn't matter if Plate IQ works with R365. Wink, wink. They do. But it doesn't matter if the solution you want for this problem and the solution you want for that problem actually work together. API goes away. There's no API integration required. This all goes into a central brain. You use Tableau or some other dashboard builder to build whatever that interface that looks like a point of sale for you and a back office operating dashboard for you, and poof, you've got that custom solution using all the off-the-shelf providers and services. So this is something we've looked at very closely. Again, not ready for prime time, not ready for 15 countries, which is the problem I'm trying to solve. So if I had a small brand in the United States today, this is my choice today, okay? Soignier I talked about, all-in-one solution, just to get you familiar. To all my friends in the room, thank you for your logos. Some people like Paytronics helped me out to get a good logo. I'm going to go through what I think are the priorities. These are my priorities. I don't know if they're your priorities, but these are the things I think every restaurant brand from a one store up needs to have solutions for these problems. What is that central operating system, that business management system, quote unquote, the point of sale? What is your accounting solution? I've been an R365 guy since, boy, they were basically outsourced accounting company. We were using them, and they've come a long way. Love that team. E-commerce, Olo's the big guy in America. Olo does not work in Asia. So I'm having to look at folks that have experience in Asia. Deliverect, Tilster on the radar. Loyalty, some form of loyalty, some form of community engagement and building tool, right? Inventory management, very important. I love Margin Edge, but R365 is doing a great job of building their own internal tool as well. KDS, whether it's native to your point of sale or you get a third party like a Kitchen Armor, there's many of them out there, right? Employee management, I was a Hot Schedules guy, hated that thing. Anybody from Hot Schedules? They're not really coming to restaurant stuff, right? Love 7 Shifts. Love what they're doing at 7 Shifts. Think it's the slick tool. Marketing technology, this one might be a little surprise to you. If you're not marketing, you don't exist. If you're not spending, you ready? If you're not spending 2.5% to 3% of your gross sales on a monthly basis on marketing, you're not going to compete against anybody of any reasonable size. So there are some really cool technologies. Adentro, I'm a very good friend of Adentro. I think it's phenomenal. We've already put it in the US pepper lunches. They're about to go in the Australian pepper lunches, and they are working on the tool to make it available to all of our countries worldwide. That's a Wi-Fi gating, tracking, attribution company, but they're really a marketing company with some cool tech. My favorite thing about Adentro is you can send 61 million people, if you wanted to hit all of their people and pay for it, you can send 61 million consumers in the United States a message about your restaurant. But more importantly, you can actually pick out of that 61 million those who are near or around, not been to your competitors, because they know where these folks have been. So pretty cool tech. I think marketing technology is something that's not getting talked about sort of at the front end. What do I need today? What are the foundational basics? I think you need to be thinking about what you're going to do besides a loyalty program. No offense, Paytronics. We're very good friends with Paytronics. But what else are you doing that is actually marketing to not the people who signed up for you? All right, next tier. Need to have technologies. I actually think you need most of this right away, okay? You got 2, 3, 4 stores. You got 1 store, you need some of these things. You got 3 to 5 stores, you need most of the things. If you got more than 5 stores, you better have that last slide and this slide together. Now, table stakes. Because if you heard Jeff this morning, that guy is doing everything, right? And it's working. He's firing on all cylinders. A lot of other brands are too. So reputation management, you've got to have some way of getting opinions from your consumers, tracking their opinions online, engaging with them, etc. Zach, am I good? You happy with where I stuck you? All right. You were on there 3 times, and then I realized you don't really do online menu management, so I pulled you off. I don't know why I stuck. I was just like, ovation, ovation, ovation. I think you've got to be able to manage all of your menus on all platforms. Marquee does that across all 82, 88 places or something like that. Consumer experience, different from reputation. Reputation management is tracking your customers, getting them to engage. Consumer experience is asking them, getting positive or negative direct feedback. If you don't know Freets, I'd be happy to tell you about them offline. That's the new age technological analytical way of doing the Secret Shopper program. So Secret Shopper at scale, pretty cool. Ovation, obviously, I think most people know. If you don't, talk to Zach after. They ask your customer how was their experience, and then there's an engagement sequence that allows you to have a relationship with your customer. I think it's phenomenal. Invoice management, you got Plate IQ and R365. They're working together. They both have similar, different solutions, but they're both trying to make it easier for you to get your bills paid accurately and monitored, et cetera. Employee comms, you've heard about this a lot this week, this last 2 days, right? Andy Hooper, obviously the only guy in the industry talking about employees first, employees only, make it about deal with the employee situation, and all your other problems will somewhat solve themselves. Ubic is a phenomenal tool. Opus is a learning management, new age learning management. They do some overlap things, but Ubic does things that Opus doesn't. Opus is deeper on the learning management side. I think you need to be checking both of these companies out. If you were in the other room, and Leon would tell you, if they were putting logos on the screen, they're ecstatic about Ubic. So check out Ubic. You've never heard of Tap the Table, but is anything automated in your Instagram and Facebook feeds? So if you post something on social media and somebody makes a comment or asks a question, who answers those? Crickets. Do you have a human doing it? Is somebody actually monitoring every comment and every question and accurately engaging with those on an hourly basis, or daily basis? Yes, no, weekly, monthly? Okay, there are tools. Tap the Table started as a QR code scanning thing, but actually the founder of that company is on like the advisory board at Instagram, and so every time they roll out a new feature, he adapts his solutions to that. There's actually a tool, and I've heard of others besides Tap the Table, that will automatically, a chat bot, you can train the chat bot to answer basic questions and then recognize concerns and questions that are a little bit more analog and humans need to jump in. Not unlike Ovation, it will pop out a message to you that says, hey, you need to address this. Hey, Zach, you got me on time, right? Yeah. Let's get the sound.
Get a pulled pork burger with a deli bun and mustard and pickles. I'd also like a kid's mac and cheese with milk and yogurt and a large Coke and French fries. We can edit the cart with voice. Make the Coke a small, I don't want the French fries, and change that to apple juice for the kids' mac and cheese.
Okay, did you see that? Was that enough? Go look this up on TikTok, okay? Super simple. Go look that up on TikTok. It's SoundHound. It happens to be one of many. There's Presto and others out there. This is not just for drive-through, guys. This is for phone. This is, if you got to get ready. People are going to be ordering their family meals on Alexa and Google, whatever the hell that little puck is called, at home this way very soon. The technology's here. There's 3 or 4 videos, or you can go to SoundHound's website. That video's on that website. But on TikTok, there's a bunch of them, so it's pretty cool. So what is AI doing for us? We've got to have some idea of what's going on. So this is a watch and pay attention technology, okay? Robotics, I'm not going to stand on stage and talk about robotics all day, but robotics is not only arms and wheels. There are all kinds of things around machine learning, AI assistant, AI vision, I was going to tell a story, but just FYI, there is a chain steakhouse in America with 200 plus locations that's been using the eye, the visual piece of Miso Robotics' Flippy robot, just the brain and the eye, to tell the grill master what steak needs to be flipped and rested and in what order and at what time. It's an AI assistant. 2.5 years they've been using this already. Why? $36 to $42 cost steak, when you fuck up 6 of them a night, gets to be expensive on a 360-day schedule, right? So there's more to robotics and AI than what I think you're seeing in the top line trades. Once you know your problem, please don't be paralyzed. Please don't rush. Be considerate. Choose a partner, not a logo. Choose a partner, not a feature. Choose a partner that you can work with over a long period of time. And never stop learning. Pay attention. Keep coming to these things. And ask for help. You've got people out there like Constrata with Skip Kimple, Solgenics for helping you on the help desk and IT recruiting. I hired Jessica Sweet as our recruiter at Solgenics to find us a CTO who's willing to move to or live in Singapore ASAP. So I don't want to do this anymore. This is not my job full time. I don't want to be the tech guy for this company. We're going to prescribe it. I'm going to sign the deals, and they're going to write the checks, and then I'm out because we're going to have a CTO. Get a CTO, get a fractional CTO, get a project manager to help you onboard, implement, and do this stuff right. And then be friends and tell each other what you're working on and help each other out, would you? Thank you, guys. That's my time. Have a good day.